Everybody, and welcome back to Hex Token channel. I hope you guys are having a good time out there in the good old crypto land. We're going to get into it all. Let me just mute this over here and get everything set up. Hope you guys have been dollar cost averaging. That's how we roll on this channel. I guess that's all we can say is dollar cost average until you make it. That's what happens there. Right, let's get into it, folks. We're going to get into what's coming up on the calendar this week, which is the biggest thing out there, actually, to be honest. So we're going to talk about that with the old Fed Reserve there. So get into the channel, say hello. Big welcome, of course, from Hex Token channel. Get in the chat, say hello, and let us know how you're getting on. So we're going to start off pretty quickly here. We've got some big numbers coming up here at the beginning of this week. So on Tuesday, we've got building permits coming up. It looks like previously last time there was 1,685,000 building permits. Forecast is for 1.6 million in August. So let's see how we get on with that. Obviously, we're looking at building and construction, see how that gets on with inflation, and of course with jobs and GDP growth, and negative growth, things like that. So see how much cracks are coming into the property market. Existing home sales up on September the 21st there. We got 4.81 million home sales the previous month. And of course, August looking at 4.7. Let's see how we go. Obviously, already pulling back there. We'll see how we get that on there. Obviously, you need to seasonally adjust these, but that's looking pretty cool. Oil inventories, of course, coming in as well on Wednesday. Previously 2.44, looking at forecast at 0.83 million crude oil inventories. But then the big deal. This is the big deal. FOMC meeting, economic prediction statement, and of course, ultimately, this is the big whale in the fish here in the fish tank, and that is the Fed interest rate hike. Most people are looking at 3.25%, so it'd be a 75 basis point increase from 2.5 from previous. So that's kind of where we look. If we get 100 basis points, that might shock the market and get even more volatility. And then, of course, we've got the November meeting come up after that. Following that on Thursday, of course, we've got initial jobless claims, also another key statistic. And then the Fed Chair Powell speaks again, which will also impact the market. So potentially next week expected to be reasonably volatile, unless, of course, they do 75 basis points. That might calm the market down for a while. And then, of course, we've got a bit of another window of opportunity, perhaps until November. So let's see how we get on. Next week's going to potentially be choppy, but may be more calmer than people think if 75 basis points is hit. We will see. Let's see who's in the house there. We've got Hexforce 1. Hexforce 1 has landed. Hey, Superman. Woo! Good to see Hexforce 1 as well. Let me just scroll through this. So that is what's coming up on the calendar this week. But I hope you guys are enjoying your weekend, relaxing, and you don't have to worry about this until then. So cool. Let's get into the Hex markets quickly. We're going to get into, obviously, the main event here is the Maximus team of Perpetuals, the day 13 results. There's pretty much like around about 8 days to go. So let's see how we get on. At the moment, we've had some incredible results. We'll talk about that. We're also going to talk about the EthW opportunities of money-making opportunities. We're going to cover some of those as well. All right, so we've got Hex at the moment, 3.466 cents. So pretty much the same as what we had in the first live stream 5 hours ago. Maxi at 2.13 premium there. So just dropped a little bit over the last couple of days, as you can see, a couple of day drop there. We've got Hedron at the moment actually performed pretty well. Had a little nice rebound yesterday and holding that value up at the moment at 3,500. So doing pretty well is Hedron. Icosa at $1.12. That's pretty much where we are there on the Hex charts. And of course, at the moment on the crypto there, BC managed to get itself back over 20,000, trying to hold it there. It's going up and down, above and below it all day. And of course, Ethereum there at 1456, BNB at 278. So pretty similar to our first live stream. Let's have a quick look at the BNB memes in that case. Since we looked at BNB, we've got the Pulse Dodge pulling down 5%, just under 4.2 cents there. Or let me rephrase that, just under 4/10 of a penny, and that is down as well. We've got P33 down, way down at 8.678 cents. Not quite the low here, but that's getting pretty low. Look at that. That's pretty bad. And of course, at the moment, Internet Money, that is also down fairly low, but had a bit of a good day with a bit of volume coming in here at 7,000. Got up to 8,000 and back down to 7. So a bit of volume coming in for Internet Money. Nice to see that, but you need to get a trend started. Maybe that is the beginning of it. So far, just a bit of a nice green day. Pulse Dodge coin, obviously, the founder is teasing the fact that there could be a launch coming very soon. And of course, we're looking at a dual token system there with Pulse, Pulse Bitcoin. So this in my view, going to be the next big play. Obviously, after Maxi, which is still playing out. Maxi's got to play out all the way through to the 27th. Particularly the last couple of days, I think we're going to see some pretty fun action. And then, of course, we've got the one-to-one peg, minting peg after that is gone. And who knows what could happen with the team and Maxi after that. It's going to be fun to see. At the moment, of course, the weight token all the way down under 0.8 of a penny after making a massive jump from 0.5 cents, half a cent, up to 2.2 cents, down to just under 0.8 of a penny now. So obviously after the news. So buy the news, buy the rumor, sell the news. Definitely played out there. But their product's still coming. This is the problem, is the gap's too long. There we are. Wildcards. This will look PZN. Oh, PZN has come down. Finally, it was looked like it was going to hold up there. PZN has come down just over 0.7 of a penny on PZN. And you can see that it was up at 1 cent, holding up quite nicely for a couple of days, and then back down to just over 0.7 of a penny there. So we'll see what it can do. At the moment, of course, the more token is at 87 cents as trade bonds, and this is a Conrad Zen's coin. We've dropped off Dodeca, if you recall, because of the hack issue there. Not the hack issue, some sort of compromise anyway, with the 1% of the wallet. So we've dropped that one. We probably will be adding Silvertooth one. I don't know when it's launching. I probably need to follow up on that. Let me know in the chat if you've heard anything about Silvertooth. That'd be cool. So that is pretty much a market roundup. This is what's happening with the cryptos at the moment. And of course, we've got the major event coming up on Wednesday, the 21st of September, the interest rate rise. It's kind of a summary, but we're going to get into the results for Maximus. Let's do it. But before we do that, let's say hello to people in the chat. What else we got going there? Wookie's in the house there, says Wookie has zapped in to say hi to the Xkins. Woo, Superman is back and better than ever. Hey, Wookie, appreciate that. Big shout out to you. We got Brian in the house, sup boss. Hey, Brian, was that a 6-hour live stream that you did on GenX earlier with Craig? Man, that was some crazy stuff there. They had Matty Allen on there. Who else did you have? Hexiest man in the world. There was someone else. Let me think who that was. Let me know in the chat who that was. I'm just trying to remember now. Oh, I know who it was. I've just forgotten. All right, never mind. I'm sure you guys will tell me. We got Wookie Holy to Gwei. Yeah, it's been really low Gwei on Ethereum, isn't it? Not surprising there. James Bond in the house. Hey, hi, Superman. Looking well, buddy. Hey, thanks, James. Appreciate it. And you get well too, James. Not quite 100%. I think I might be about, like 97%. We know when you're almost right, but there's still just something a little off the planet there. What else have we got there? Johnny Chaos says it's Brian. That's it. Johnny Chaos. Sorry about that. Johnny Chaos. Yeah, and he was dropping really good info on there too. So it was really good. Always appreciate Johnny Chaos's perspective on things. Very cool. I only ended up watching, I think I watched about 5 minutes during those 6 hours, and I watched about probably about 10 minutes at the end, maybe about 10 minutes at the end of that live stream. But that was pretty cool. 6 hours, pretty awesome. What a great comeback after the Las Vegas tour that you guys went on and had a great time. All right, so let's get on to the Maximus day number 13. We're going to be doing day 12 as well because I was off yesterday. But day 12, we did some pretty nice increases. And of course, yesterday we had 22.8 million in the base perpetual, 21.5 million hex in the trio, the 3-year perpetual. And in the 7-year, we had 19.2 million yesterday, and a Decimus 93.3 million, a total 156.8. That is 26% of our target of 600 million. 600 million is based on 150 million each times 4. That is 600 million. And so 26 yesterday, which is really tracking really nicely at this stage of the game. But of course, we had a massive, also we had team yesterday, 40.6 million in team yesterday. And that was up from 39.3. So some nice little modest increases, except for Decimus, which was really big yesterday. But today, day 13, 24.5 million in the 1-year base, getting up really nicely here. That's going well. We've got Trio 23 million, Lucky up at 20.9, and the Decimus there up massively, over 100 million hex there, 101 million hex over in the Decimus, the 10-year stake there. Absolutely amazing. And we've still got like 8 days to go. So crazy stuff there. That's 170 million hex. Woo! That is awesome, mate. That is awesome. So that's going really good. 28.3% of our 600 million target it is going really, really nice. Now, what does this mean? This means that obviously the bigger the perpetuals are, the more revenue that's going into the team. So it means bigger pays better. It means the hedron, and so that's really good. So the bigger it gets, the more that's going into the team rewards. On the other hand, of course, from Hex perspective, that means that this Hex is off the market either in a perpetual basis, and as you can see, that most of the Hex has gone to the 10-year stake, and so most of it is off perpetually for 10-year periods. So it's pretty awesome. Now there is a mint redemption phase, but between that, if the ecosystem grows, then obviously that will grow as well. It magnifies itself as opposed to pulling back. So really bullish for Hex, and also really bullish for team and the perpetuals themselves, and indeed Maximus, I guess, Maxi as well. So very exciting. So 28.3 looks really cool. The team, though, man, oh man, up to 48 million, up from yesterday, 40.6, and of course now 16.4% of all Maxi is now in the team wallet. Unbelievable. Now we talked about before the launch, we're talking about 20% would be a pretty nice little target. Seemed like a reasonable point. Looks like we're tracking to that very comfortably at the moment. So we're going to talk about that. But the big news, of course, today was the Hedron deployer putting 5,555,555 Maxi into the team wallet there. That helped make up a good amount of this, maybe 2/3 of this amount from the Hedron deployer. So pretty exciting there. And it's good to see the whales move. And of course, the Hedron deployer is number 2 wallet there. So pretty cool. Let's look at the differentials from the days. So day 12 there, up 1.1 million in base, 0.7 million trio, 0.4 million in lucky, 4.8 million in decimus, 6.9 million for the day, and up 1.3 million for the day for team. But day 12, day 13, up 1.8, so even better, 1.5, 1.7 for lucky, 8.2, a massive 8.2 on day 13 for decimus, and a massive, ginormous 7.4 million Maxi's gone into the team today, which is actually, let's have a look here, is actually the second best day after day 1, which is pretty cool. Now, the best day for decimus so far is day 11, 16.7 million in day 11. So, yep, that's day 13.9 was the first day. The best day for lucky so far is probably day 1. Day 1, yep, day 1, and that would probably be true for all of them. So for the other 3, the best day was day 1, but for Decimus, that was just the other day. It's a massive 16.7 on day 11. But the best day, as I say, for the best day for all of them, if we include all of them, is let's have a look here. The best day for all of them is day 1, 34.9 million. So cool, looking good there, and what a big day, 7.4 million for team. Awesome results, awesome results. And of course, we've got the live results. And of course, you can see this growing all the time on the old dashboard here for the team and perpetuals. So keep spreading the word, folks. Obviously, very small stakers can benefit inside the perpetual pools. Their gas savings is critical, especially if people are wanting, if they've got a small amount of Hex, they can put it into perpetuals and don't have to worry about the gas fees. This is really wonderful for the small investor. So no matter where they are around the world, they can really benefit. So it's really huge. And it just looks like we just hit 170 million. So we're now at 170,477,000 Hex in the pool, which is great. 18,490 T-shares. This is a beast. This thing's a beast. And of course, we've already got 13,411 in there already. So if we actually compare this to the Maxi stake, which is the 30th biggest stake in Hex, the 15th biggest whale, then we're getting up pretty big compared to that. Let's put it 18.5 divided by 42. So that's how big the Maxi is. We're at 44% of the Maxi shark stake now, which is pretty cool. I imagine we're going to get much bigger than that. So the team minting snapshot, 48 million team and minted, almost 50 million. That's insane. Remember, there's 293.3 million in total, and that was after the Hedron deployer burned $1 million. And now has put 5.5 million into the team here. Absolutely amazing. 32.4 million staked, 15.66 million liquid. And of course, the total amount of the Maxi that's gone into team, 20% gets burned, and it's now 9.6 million. The 30% goes into the 369 Maxi rebate. So remember, the team gets bigger pays better. 50% of the bigger pays better bonus from the perpetual. So the bigger they are, the more revenue. they get the Hedron, and of course they get the 369 maxi rebate. So those are the three principal ones, but they also get the fourth one, which particularly could be very lucrative indeed, and then some sort of mystery airdrops, and of course product growth. So kind of a dual approach there, product growth to the ecosystem as it grows. So it could be pretty awesome. So they're 14.42 million in there at the moment, and the mystery box there with 50%, 24.03 million. And of course, maybe that's related to the mysterious drops. Obviously, no expectations there. So 1,495 team members have minted, and they have 63 million maxi on the sidelines. So it's a bit of a mixed strategy going on there for many of those holders. Here at number one is the top minted is the Hedron deployer at the top, holding 5.5 million team, and of course maxi at 21.4 million in the balance. And then we have our big whales that have sacrificed here. Oh, not sacrificed, minted, I should say. What did I talk about? Sacrifice. 2 million here. And of course, we can see one of them still has 2.5 million maxi in supply. The other one has, number 3, has gone all in. And that's pretty cool. Now, I've done a snapshot back on the 10th September, and I'm going to compare this to all the changes afterwards. So it's going to be fun to see what happens there. We've got plenty of people that have minted 3 million and still holding some maxi on the sidelines there. Yeah, pretty cool. We've got still holding liquid. It's interesting. These ones holding liquid at the moment. There may be some people playing the short game for the premium, possible premium runaway after we leave this one-to-one mint phase. Maybe they're going to run, try and get any premium in the market. That's always possible too. So we'll see. Let's see what else we got going. We've got lots of these whales. This one here is a big whale. It's got 3.3 million. Is currently liquid in maxi, and they've got 588 million staked in team. So you can sort of see some of the bigger whale strategies here. The cool thing about this, if you're thinking about what strategy I should do, well, you can sort of weigh up what some of the larger holders are doing. You go, oh yeah, I could do a split strategy like this or that, and you can decide. So it's pretty cool. Obviously, got some big ones here: 2.1 million, 1.3 million there. This one here has got liquid, done 300,000 liquid team. This one here has done stake team, liquid team, and maxi. So real diversification strategy there. That there is, a real evenly split. And no doubt they're probably holding some hex if they like the split strategy. You can see all these whales have done, all these large holders have done split strategies too. And of course, this one here's got 500 liquid. It's 25,000 stakes. It's pretty interesting. That one. This one here kind of makes more sense to me. This 250 if you're going to do something like that with $1 million maxi in play. So this kind of here seems like a good one to me. Let me know what you think in the chat there. So that's some of the highlights there and some of the strategies, some of the larger holders of maxi. So pretty cool. Getting up there though. Look at all the ones over 100,000, 100,000 team. Look at those, heaps of 100,000s. That seems to be a popular number. People like to mint 100,000 there. And of course, what have these people done? We can see they're still holding quite a bit of maxi, some of them. They're not really liquid. None of them are really liquid. Very little liquid. So they're basically all staked. It's an interesting strategy. If you're around 100,000, most of them have just gone full in, which is an interesting strategy from there. So it's cool. Obviously, there's more pages, but that is some of the bigger holders over 100,000. Looking good, man. Looking really good. All right, so cool. Let's jump over to our next topic, which is going to be on the Ether proof of work network. And of course, everyone got their airdrops from there. Now, whether they're worth much value over time, it has to be seen. The market has to decide that. I suspect that we'll have a bit of a sell-off. Obviously, Hex and stuff like that's been performing very well on there compared to a lot of projects. But of course, because we've seen quick adoption by the teams. We're going to talk about that in a second. But who knows what they'll be worth. All right, let's have a look here. We got a couple more comments. Pulse Unity in the house. We are in the house. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Pulse Unity, good to see you. And Brian says, had a long day, folks. Nodding out. Keep it going, boss. See you, everybody. Hey, Brian, you did indeed. Have a good one, Brian. And even Hex Hog says, lame one, Brian. Lame. Yeah. You might have to listen to Hex Hog there, Brian. Pac-Man in the house. Woo-hoo-hoo! Hey, man, that's hardcore. I love the chant there, Pac-Man. Good to see you in the house there. Let's get into our next topic. So we've did the market things. If you missed it, I'll try and put a timestamp on at the beginning. We did economic indicators. We've got the Fed Reserve interest rate coming up on Wednesday. That's going to be the big day. And, of course, we've got lots of economic data coming before and afterwards. house data before it, and employment data, I think it was, afterwards. So it's a big week, and it's going to be volatile. But if we lock in 75 basis points, maybe we'll get a bit of a reprieve until the next interest rate rise in November. And of course, yeah, that's cool. So the market's Bitcoin climbing back over 20K too. It's been positive. So pretty good on that one. If you mix the maxi results, really strong maxi results on day 13, absolutely stellar results on day 13 for Maximus team and Perpetuals. Very cool. So let's get into the ETH proof of work. Before we do that, let's have a drink. Cheers, everybody. So we can see the chart here. So if we look at the last 7 days on the chart here, we see what we're on EthW or ETH proof of work. It was already pre-listed, right? So it's currently, it was at the top here. It was at 0.03 ETH. And of course, then it's just really, since the launch, just really been going down. And here we currently are at 0.005 ETH, so 0.0055 ETH. So it's come down quite a bit there. And the all-time low was a day ago, and it's only 1.1% off that at the moment. So obviously just recently. So we jump to the current date on the 24-hour. We can see where we are on the EthW there. So it was down at 0.055, made a little bit of recovery, and then back down to 0.055 again. It may have run out of steam here. Just thinking it may have run out of steam in terms of falling. It's 84.9% off the all-time high, which was 15 days ago on September the 3rd. So that's cool. Now, obviously, there's some of the title I put in EthW money-making options. So we're going to look at some of those. We're not going to look in the whole options, but obviously some of the best movers have been Hex on the actual chain so far, which is pretty funny. Yeah, so we're going to look at some of that. So one of the first things that you can do, obviously, is that you got to be careful on the Kyber swap, for example, which is what people use in the swap mainly, is the fact that the values, the US dollar values, are not real, right? So you didn't suddenly get rich when you're on there. We'll talk about that in a second. You've got to make the adjustment for how much ETH is actually worth, right? So 1 ETH, the real ETH on the Ethereum blockchain, is worth 179.33 ETH on EthW, right? So EthW is the new fork chain, still based on the old proof of work. The ETH is now on a proof of stake chain, which was the big deal, and everyone got excited about that. Obviously, the price sold off, went down about $1,450, and of course, we can see they're currently at $1,458 at the moment. So that's kind of cool. So one of the things that you can do is you can speculate, right? So this chain's got to prove itself over time, and of course, are people going to use it? Are there going to be large volumes through it, and things like that, right? So obviously, it's still based on proof of work, and then, of course, there's the sharing of load. People are going to be on certain things. Obviously, most people are on the primary network, and it's been valued as such. So that's just the way it goes. But at the moment, 1 ETH, you could get 779.3 EthW, and it's worth, about $8 or something like that. So that's where that is at the moment. And what was I going to say? So let's just quickly go. If you wanted to, one strategy is to speculate on EthW. In other words, you take a little bit of ETH. Maybe you think that EthW is going to close this price range. Maybe it's going to end up being 1 to 100. Maybe you think something like that's going to happen. And if there's a rally on EthW, maybe that does happen. So that's kind of where you're speculating on there. And so if you took 0.001 today, you're going to get 0.01 ETH at the moment. It's going to get you 1.8 EthW at the moment. So if you think that EthW is going to go, is first of all selling off at the moment, but maybe in the future it's going to start having a rally after people got used to it and start using it, then maybe your 1.8 ETH will go up much more value than you paid for it at the moment with ETH at 0.1. So 0.01 times 14.58, that's about $14.58, right? So $14.58 is the amount that 1 ETH, 0.01 ETH would be. It's changing around in values, but 0.01. So that is that's equivalent, that there 1.8 is equivalent of $14.58 at the moment. So that's what you're talking about in terms of getting 1 ETH. So if you put $14.58 into this, and this here started going up in price, then maybe that $15 of ETH there, this $15 of ETH there might end up being, if it goes up, this gets 10x higher, maybe versus ETH, then maybe it's worth $150, something like that. So that's your first speculation. It's one of the options that you can do. How would you do that? Of course, well, you could go to FTX exchange or something like that. But if you go to the markets here, you can see on the markets here on CoinGecko all the markets that it's on. Obviously, FTX is one of the biggest ones. We talked about this previously. You can see that the volumes have definitely increased on the networks, but 233,000 is what this is indicating. So yeah, it's got the price in ETH there. And of course, what else we got to talk about on here? So yeah, you've got the volumes have increased on here, but FTX, you could go to FTX or somewhere like that, or OKX, and I see it's actually got supported by a lot more chains. It's been interesting. And of course, you can go and trade on FTX if you're going to do that. But there's a much simpler way of doing it. So if you don't want to interact with FTX, sign up and all the rest of it. Obviously, there's other ones that are supporting Bitfinex, some of the big ones, OKX there. So Gate.io, one of the easy ones to get on. Kraken, they're supporting EthW and Euro. So it's actually picking up volume. So it might be a nice speculative play if you think this is going to continue to, now that it's supported by more exchanges, it's going to continue to get supported. Then that may be something you think about. Obviously, speculation, not investment advice. Of course, it's completely speculative. You're basically saying, yeah, this chain might do okay. Let's not say that it's going to do anything like Ethereum or something like that, but maybe there's enough economic value on there that people speculate on the price and it goes up over time. Maybe more dApps use it and stuff like that, even though it's on the proof of work, which is, in some ways not as popular as proof of stake ones, right? All right, so cool. That's something you can do. But if you don't want to do that, of course, you can just simply go to swap space. And of course, this is easy. This is a cross-chain swap. And of course, much cheaper actually in many regards. Well, not as centralized, but it's definitely, it might only be a transfer fee. So you'll be largely paying a transfer fee rather than some expensive like credit card fee or something like that. It's going to be relatively cheap. Now all you have to do is put in ETH and EthW there. So if you actually look for ETH and you type that in, then this would be an easy way of doing it. You go to ETH and you're going to find ETH POW down the bottom there. So that's easy to do. So you just put in ETH and then you would go down here, type in ETH again. Oh, let me just redo that. Type in ETH again and then scroll down to EthW. And of course, then you can get view offers. So you're going to see here the price here, 0.1 ETH equals 17.64 EthW. Cool. So let's say that you did that. Obviously that'd be about $150. So $150 of ETH into would give you 17.64 EthW at the moment. Now, if you think that speculating that the EthW price is going to go up over time, then that might be a pretty nice speculative play. You just sit on it, you hold it, you maybe monitor the price every so often, and some of you every day. But you know what I mean? Like that's how it plays, and that will just go to your wallet. So all you have to do is click view offers, and of course then it's going to give you Change Now. Change Now is the only partner that's doing that at the moment, but maybe there's more partners in the future. But in any case, this is perfectly good. And I've used it and it works perfectly fine. So it says the ETA estimated time of arrival at 3 to 60 minutes. Typically it will be in less than under 10 minutes, and it'll be at a floating rate, of course. And you can see that the rating of the exchange is 5. So this has been around for ages, and so it's very easy to do. And in any case, all you have to do is send the funds. You don't actually connect the wallet. It gives you the option of connecting, but you don't have to connect. So you just click exchange on there. Pretty easy to do. You put in the address that you want the EthW to go to, and that's pretty easy. So you put that address in, and of course, I'm going to put one in here. Let me just go to the Play Wallet here. I'm going to put one in. So I put our Play Wallet in, and then I go next. It's going to create a swap here. It's pretty easy to do. And of course, then it's going to say, you don't have to connect, by the way. It says connect wallet. Use your wallet to transfer funds. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is send 0.1 ETH to this deposit address and put that to that address there. So you just have to send 0.1 ETH and you'll be able to get that 17.6 EthW. Once you've done that, it will say payment received, and then it will then process that, and you'll see it in your wallet within minutes. So you got deposit time an hour and a half there. Pretty easy. Now I've done this on other accounts, but you can do this if you're speculating. Now it's a pretty cheap speculation. Obviously, it might be worth nothing. It might be worth less. Maybe your $150 is worth $75 if the price goes down again. Remember that. So there's a speculation. It can always go down. All right. But if you think that maybe this chain might do 10x better, maybe that's a good 10x play. We see crazy stuff happening in Luna C and Luna Classic and all sorts of stuff. So maybe that is the case. But once again, this is speculative stuff. This is not like Hex and stuff like that, which is more conservative part of crypto. So that's pretty cool. So that's how that works. And of course, if you want to get a link, I put a link under useful links, and you can see swap space in there as well. Easy and cheap cross blockchain swap, includes Ether to EthW there. So you can find that link under useful links. All right, so that's one way you could do it. So you could just speculate on EthW. And of course, this is an easy way to do it. Or you can go to one of the exchanges and swap, but there's all the administrative hassle for that. Sometimes KYC and things too. So that's pretty much it. So you can do that. Now, the other cool thing is that Dipcatcher has, from the Maximus team, has already early on got the fact that all the minting phase for Maximus team, Perpetuals, and everything is already working straight away. He got straight away onto it once EthW network had launched. And of course, everyone's getting a copy of the Ethereum tokens on there. And of course, they are now listed in the top 28 projects on the EthW network. And of course, they already got listed on here. So you can see very good hands. Listed with KyberSwap as well, which is the exchange you're going to swap if you want to swap over to buy, to swap to get Hex, for example. Say maybe you get EthW. Like I say, you use this to get EthW. Now, if you don't finish this contract, by the way, it will just expire. So don't worry too much about that. But of course, on KyberSwap, that's where you can actually buy Hex or Hedron or things like that. So that's pretty cool. We're going to look at that in a second. There's also ETH Swap and stuff like that, EthW Swap. I haven't used that one, but there's KyberSwap where a lot of people are using. So cool. Let's jump over to that. So, Dipcatcher did that for Maximus team Perpetuals, and he basically made it that you could actually participate on both the Ethereum chain with the minting phase and the EthW chain, which is double the value, right? And then, of course, Pulsechain's coming as well. So it's going to be a 3x value. Going to be pretty neat. All right, so they did that, and, of course, that's going super well. So let me just do that. The other thing, of course, is Alex also. So everything you can do on Maximus team Perpetuals, you can do on the EthW chain too. So you can have double the passive income potentially. Obviously, the value of the EthW chain is going to be speculative. But in any case, you can also do this now on app.icosa Pro. Alex from Icosa Hedron has gave support too very quickly. Updated support for the EthW, for Hex, Hedron, and Icosa apps. You should be able to access your fork stakes now, which means that you can participate on this platform in just the same way you do on Ethereum. Setting up HSI stakes, selling HSIs to the Icosa contract, and getting Icosa, staking that Icosa, staking that Hedron, staking that Hex on EthW. It's very, very cool. So there's all these options for creating new passive incomes and making more money. So these are other avenues. So we've got EthW. You can speculate. We've got Hex, Hedron, and of course, whatever you got copied over there, you can put into these platforms. And of course, what the speculative value of that will be worth over time, no one knows. But of course, it's definitely options that you can do. Maybe you make the winning bet here. Maybe you put Hedron in, you start earning and that sort of thing. So it's going to be pretty cool. The other thing, of course, is you can actually go to obviously Icosa there and do that. So you got Hex, Hedron, and Icosa. You just need to make sure that you have your staked wallet on EthW mainnet. So that's all you need to do. So rather than, let me just open this up. Rather than have it just on Ethereum, you need to have it on, you need to switch it over to EthW to access it on this DApp here for Hedron Icosa. And of course, you can do Hex, everything on Hex here. And you can do everything on Hedron. And of course, everything on Icosa as well. Now, so that's pretty cool. So let's jump over to Maximus here. Also on Maxi, for these links, of course, Dipcatcher supported these. And of course, it starts off with ePower dash Perpetuals. So you can mint on here. You can mint on here. You can redeem as well during the launch phase. So that's going to be cool. So we're going to have it operating base trio, Lucky, and Decimus operating there on the EthW network. So it's going to be cool. And also on the ePower Team Anvil app there, you can mint take your Hex on the EthW network that you got copied for free, or you can buy it. And we're going to talk about that in a second. And of course, you can mint yourself a team there with Maxi. So if you got Maxi, you got copied over on the ETH chain there, sitting in your Ethereum wallet. and now you've got a copy on EthW network, then you can put that in here and stake that too. So maybe you've already done it, and there we are. And then once you mint team, you can then stake your team on the EthW network. So all more ways of earning passive income for free because you've got airdrops. Now, there is the option, of course, of buying. And, of course, if you want to get to these links, by the way, Acosa, the Maximus here on the EthW, all you have to do is go to useful links on here, and we've got them all set up. So you can check that out. So let me just go up the top here. These are the EthW networks, so for the team and the Perpetuals on EthW. And, of course, if you want to get to the ones that are on Ethereum, you just have to go to, where's it here? You have to just go to this site here. This one here is the team on Ethereum, and this is the do all the stuff for minting team and Perpetuals on the EthW network. So there's two networks there. And, of course, Acosa is this one here. So if you want to get the Acosa dApp, that's the one there. And that obviously just switch the chain over pretty easy. All right, cool. I've got quite a few people in the chat there. Let me catch up on a few comments. But that is where we're up to. Now we're going to look at, so we looked at just speculating on EthW. We've looked at, obviously, Hex, Hedron, and Acosa, and doing team minting and perpetual minting on EthW. So all the stuff you'll be able to get for free if you already had a copy on the ETH network. And you got a copy of it. Otherwise, you can buy it, right? And then participate in those passive incomes too as well. So let's have a look at that. And if, obviously, if the value of the chain goes up, EthW goes up, and the rest of the stuff goes up, then you'll do better too. Crypto King says, boom, what's up, Hexkins? Good to see Crypto King. Loaded up, Hex, Hedron, SHIB on EthW network. Work, let's go, says Pac-Man. Nice work. EthW will be like ETC, different version. All the coins in there can be good later on in months. Yeah, and that's the play, is that you're playing out the longer game on these, which can sometimes happen within 2 months or something, but we'll see. We are in a bear market, and we do have volatile conditions, but yes, that's the idea. Right, and Hex staking functions properly on EthW as well. Enjoys the Crypto King. Unconfused with EthW. I thought Ethereum is a proof of stake now. James, EthW is a fork of Ethereum. So Ethereum has moved to proof of stake, but EthW forked Ethereum and kept itself as a proof of work network. So we've got two networks. Ethereum as a proof of stake network, and EthW as a proof of work network, just like it previously was. That's pretty much it. So all the coins got copied in the EthW network. That's what we're talking about there. How come I don't get copy EthW in my MetaMask wallet? I do have some ETH in my wallet. You should have that if you've added the network. I've got a video on this channel. It shows you how to add the EthW network on there. In fact, if you also got that on our Discord, where did my Discord go? Here it is right here. So if you go to the bottom here, this is the network here. So you have to add that to your network, and then you should be able to see your ETH. If you had ETH on there at the fork, then it would be showing up. You just have to switch the wallet over. You have to switch the wallet over from Ethereum, and you can go into networks here, settings, and then go to networks, and then you can add in the chain. There is the chain there, EthW. Add in the chain details, and of course, away you go. Once you've done that, you'll have the ETH network up here, and all you have to do is swap it to the EthW network. So that's how easy it is. It's just as easy as going to Pulsechain and going to the Pulsechain test network. Easy as going to the Smart Chain, BNB chain. Easy doing like that. And if I got Polygon, it's easy to jump over to Polygon, all in the same wallet. And of course, the same thing is going to the EthW network. That's how easy it is. So hopefully that is clear on that one. And I got the big comment up there. Yep, Pulse will rock. Yeah, Pulsechain is going to dwarf these things, by the way. And as obviously you guys know, all the fundamentals, it's going to absolutely dwarf what's happening with this chain, right? So it's so much bigger deal. You got to remember that Pulsechain is still going to be the biggest airdrop of all time. Not only is it going to obviously fork later, it's going to have any tokens that are added to later, but it's also going to have all these native Pulsechain projects that are ready to launch as well. And potentially could be in hundreds. So you can see what I mean. It's going to still be bigger. So that premise is still true. Obviously, it's also going to have a huge ecosystem around it. So it's obviously going to have, we've got a fork of Liquidity with liquid loans. We've got a fork of Arbo with Fiat. And we've got oracles in terms of Teller. We've got all the right components we need for it to flourish. And including so much more. I mean, there's so much. I won't go into all the details, but you can see we've got Pulsex as well. Pulsex is just a game changer in there with the buy and burn feature. It's just absolutely going to be an animal. And it's there's nothing else like it. So you take all those things together, we're actually, the delay in Pulsechain launch has actually been a good thing. It's frustrating for some, but a good thing in the end game, and I'm sure people will appreciate it when it does launch. And of course, covering those attack vector issues, the bugs and things, it's been something that Richard's been very, very as a priority on. So that's pretty cool. All right, cool. So that is that. So all the links are in there. Hopefully that's pretty clear. I might do a little bit of tidying up there just to make it a bit clearer. Anyway, so let's get into it. So where's it up to? So you can do all that on there. Hey, it's free, so you might as well stake it, get mint your team if you've got Maxi over there. You can speculate on the Maxi short term. It's up to you what you do. Obviously, we expect it to take a bit of time for the chain, if it's going to actually do well, to do well. Now, obviously, you can, once you do that, of course, if you have, let's say that you bought some ETH here, maybe 0.1 ETH here, so about $150, you bought 17.6 EthW, and of course, maybe you did that. I don't know. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But if you did do it, then you would end up with 17.1 ETH in here. That'd be in your wallet, and you'd be able to see that. Let me just switch this wallet over. Let me just switch that over to this one. And so you would see any ETH there. So see this here at the top right here. So this is the Kyber swap. So you'd be able to see this. Now I think I have got this detail in here. Have I got Kyber swap? Maybe I haven't got Kyber swap in here. Maybe I should add it in. But you got Kyber swap. I might add that in later. And of course, Kyber swap here. You got your ETH here, but you have to add in the pairs. So you're gonna have to import the pairs. So if you're on the Etherscan, you're gonna have to go to Etherscan and pull them up. So for example, here's Hedron. You need to go to the contract because you need to know the contract is 100% right. So you need to make sure it's the Hedron contract. Copy it from here, add it in manually, and of course, way to go. Now, if you have got stuff in a wallet, it's a good idea perhaps to send it to another wallet with a different private key that prevents relay attacks and other things like that. If you have it in another wallet separate from your stakes, if you've got Hex in a certain wallet, you got Maxi and everything else in this, like your golden wallet, if that's the way you've done it, get this out into another wallet and just separate it out and stake with another wallet with a different private key. And therefore, if there's any issues, you've limited your exposure to that wallet. So it's a really good security practice to do that, and you'll feel much better about it. So that means you can come in and you can interact with this site here. And not feel two issues. And obviously, Kyber swap's been around a while. It did have a exposure. A lot of them do, but this one had an exposure some time ago. But they apparently have fixed that up. But once again, you do have to take care out there. I think I posted something on it earlier in terms of the exposure that they had. I'm not sure how far up I put that, but they did have an exposure. Yeah, I can't see it there, but definitely it had an issue. Now they did apparently cover the issue, but at the moment they've still got an issue around the US dollar price here because it's a bit of a problem. But anyway, let's say that you had that. Now obviously there's not a sufficient liquidity here for the amount of Hex that I want to get. 17.1 ETH here. Let's say I put 1 ETH in. Let's see whether this works there. That doesn't seem to work either. Let me refresh it. The thing that you have to do is this is really buggy, so you have to reset the whole thing. So let's pull up Hex. Let's pull up some Hex, for example, and you can see. Let's see if this is going to work. Have we got enough? Yeah, on ETH there. So ETH Hex there. And it's a little bit of buggy, so we have to let it go first. Insufficient ETH balance. Yeah, okay. It's because I don't have enough ETH. Let's put in a little bit of ETH here, 0.001, and so yeah. So if I put in 001, I haven't got much ETH in this wallet, right? So this is ETH on the EthW network. This is EthW. So even though it says ETH, it's actually EthW. So you got to remember that. So it says ETH, but as long as I'm on the network is the EthW, this is EthW, not ETH, okay? And of course, I've only got a 0.0012. So the ETH that I had on the Ethereum network got copied over, and that's how much ETH I had on this, right? So this is just one of our play wallets that we always use on this channel. And so it's not one that I use for real stuff at all. So cool. This one here, if I put that in, I'm going to 7.82 ETH. And of course, I can swap for that, right? So I can do that and swap for that, and I'll have Hex in my wallet, right? So it's going to cost me a bit of a fee. So we're going to do that just for example. And it's a really small amount of Hex. I know, I realize that. But if we do that, at the moment, let's jump over to the ALGO. At the ALGO, if I go to Hex, I've got no real Hex on here. So I've got no Hex. It's got the share rate here, but doesn't have any real Hex in it on this network. So I'd actually have to buy some. You can see I've only got a little bit of ETH in there to do that. So, but just for the fun of it, we're going to do this on this network. So let's see where we can go. So I'm going to swap that. It's got the ETH and the Hex. This is how you can buy Hex, pretty easy. And of course, there is a limit in liquidity pools here. There's no real, I haven't seen any real good window for the size of liquidity pools. There is Dex Screener, which we have. On Dex Screener, we have some stuff on Dex Screener there. So you can actually scroll down to the actual networks. It's this one here. And you can see all this, the charts here. So it tells me that there's certain liquidity pools are up here. If we clicked on liquidity, it will tell me that the biggest ones are in DAI USD, but I don't know how reliable these are. So that's my only question about that. So if we went under here and we confirm the swap, it's going to tell us the gas fee should be pretty cheap, and I confirm that. And let's see. So I don't have enough gas for this, so it's not going to let me do it. I thought I might get away with that, but it didn't let me get away with it. So I won't be able to do this transaction. But in any case, all you have to do is swap it, and you'll end up with Hex in your wallet. And I've done this actually in real. So there we are. That's the case. I knew I should probably put some ETH in this wallet. But anyway, that is pretty much it. And yeah, so you'll have to add Hex. You have to import the contracts yourself. You have to add them all in. So you have to add in Hex, have to add it in Maxi, have to add in Hedron. And of course, you can get those contracts from EthScan and just copy those into your MetaMask, which MetaMask is sitting on EthW, right? So pretty easy. So if I go to Ethereum, you see I've already got those all added in. I've got Hedron, I've got Hex in there already. But if I swap back to EthW network, I've only got Hex in there at the moment. So I'd have to actually have to go and import, say, Hedron, and import if I'm going to see. So if I buy something on Kyber Swap there, and of course it's only subject to the liquidity pools, remember, ignore the US dollar amount. US dollar amount is wrong on here, right? So all the US dollar numbers are wrong. So ignore those. They should fix it up. It really is a problem. But you're not suddenly rich when you see those values. All right, cool. It's more like a ratio swap if you think about it, but you can work out the costs. You can work out how much they're worth based on the Dex Screener and also confirming against the EthW value versus Ethereum. So it's something you can do. So cool, that is it. So I've added in Hedron there, and obviously if I was going to add in Maxi, I could add in Maxi too. And so you need to make sure that you go. I'm just doing this very quickly, but you need to make sure that you're on the right contract, even on EtherScan. But I'm just doing this to show you very quickly. And there's Maxi there, add a custom there, bam. So that's how all you have to do to see it on your wallet is you can add all those principal ones there. And obviously then you can go to Kyber Swap there and do that. So if we switch over to ETH to say Maxi, it's going to show I got Maxi there. And this is true for this too, right? So you have to do that as well. So Maxi very high, so there's no actual trading pair for this based on this. So let me have a look here on, let's go to Hex. Let's add it in Hex. So if you're Hex swapping between Hex and Maxi, then that would kind of, let me just put that in there. That would be, I don't know if it's going to show me, it's 0.55 Maxi it's got here. So that's cool. We switched that around. Maybe one Maxi 2.38 Hex there. On the moment, the pool's got all the pool stuff here. Prices impact is very high. Let's see what else has got on here. I'm confused with EthW. I thought Ethereum is, I think we got up to that one. Pac-Man says, yep, Pulse will rock. And Tom Baston House says, cheers for that swap space. Just made an EthW play as a gamble. Really happy to not need to sign up to an exchange to buy. Yeah, Tom Boss, it really is cool. So talking about the swap here, crypto swap. So this is so easy to use and you don't have any issues. So you basically send it to this middleman and then it just comes back to you. It really is so easy, and I've used it for years, so it's pretty good. Payment says, yeah, I put 2K US dollar fresh for EthW and loaded Hex Hedron ship. Let's go, says Pac-Man. Man, that's pretty beastie boy there, Pac-Man. Also added some sand too, some sand, nice one. I've heard the name sound. I just haven't looked it up. Yeah, I'm up for a specky play. EthW, says James. I added the network. Looks good, says James. Nice. Can someone give me a link to changing network ETH in MetaMask? So yeah, Apple. So the way you do that, once again, I always suggest setting up a separate wallet when you're going to add into this. Remember, after a fork, because of replays and attacks and things like that. So just take them into account. But in any case, you can useful links here. You can find the details. You got to add those in to your network on your MetaMask wallet. So those are the details, and you just have to go to your. If we go to here, you just have to go to. Let me just make sure. Go down to settings. So hit the circle at the top on your wallet. Go to settings. Go to networks, and then add in. So add new network, and then type all that stuff in there. So that's all you have to do there as well, and type all those things. So just type, take this and put that in there. And what's the next one there? Type this and put that in there, etc. So you just keep putting that in, and then you just click save at the end. Yeah, used by the network. Yep, and so forth, and then just click save, and you should be fine. Cool. The reason why that came up with that warning is because I've already got it loaded. If you're wondering why that came up with when I put that in, because I've already got the network loaded there. So cool. All right, so that's pretty easy. We've got answered that one. Pacman says this is crypt. Never know. Sometimes have to and sit on it. Yeah, that's right. You have to sit on these sometimes because it's a fork and it's got a slowly. What happens is they sell it off like we've seen, and then maybe it just slowly creeps its way back as people use it more and more, and there's less things about it. Just the thing is, you always need to take good security, right? It's good security. That's why I always suggest a new wallet potentially, because with the different separate private keys. While the new wallet is saying, well, if you interact with Kyber Swap here, you don't want any issues. Maybe there's something they had an issue like on the 2nd of September. There was a hack on this. I can't remember the specifics on it, but it was a real issue there. Let me look up myself here, and maybe I've got. I don't want to be careful what I'm looking up here, but I won't actually look on there because I'm probably going to pull up too many private conversations. But let me have a look here on general chat. And I'm not sure how far back I have to go. Yesterday 1:30. Yeah, so this was the issue. So for information, early September 2022, Kyber Swap exploit, read the use of EthW network, and of course, one of the answers was, could more people be affected? Is it safe to use Kyber Swap? The attack was identified and put a stop to after 2 hours of investigations. This attack was an FE exploit, and there is no smart contract vulnerability. Sorry about that. Probably need a drink again. For now, it is safe to use Kyber Swap functions with caution. When signing for approval, check the transaction information. If the transaction is to give allowance, please ensure the allowance is given to the correct contract address. Please note the value of ETH. Yeah, so that was pretty much it. And of course, that was on this link here. So this was on the Kyber Network news site. Notice of exploit of Kyber Swap front end on 2nd of September. All funds will be reimbursed. So they had to reimburse a compromise. Kyber Swap has identified and neutralized an exploit discovered on our front end. Please find the timeline of events, identified attackers and affected users, and necessary actions below. So far there's no vulnerability in our smart contracts, and then it's got the timeline, etc. So that is there. I posted that earlier. So there's all the stuff there. The fund sums. We have identified 265,000 worth of user funds that have been lost. These numbers will be updated if any new metrics arise. And it's got a list of affected people. And of course, that's the one I posted there about the exploit there. So forth. So that did occur. Obviously, exploits do happen out there on bridges, on swap exchanges, and things like that. So, but typically they get rid of them after they identify them or get hacked and have to pay people back. In some cases they don't, of course, because they go under sometimes. So that's pretty much that. Seems to be okay. Most people are using it at the moment, so forth. But the pools are a bit weird, and the US dollars has not been fixed. The US dollars is completely misleading. You have to kind of manually recalculate, and you could compare them to, as I say, DEX screener values and see whether they add up to the prices that you have calculated. So you do have to do a bit of math and make sure that you've got the right math. Otherwise, you could end up, making some bad trades. So really, kind of is like a ratio swap in most cases. So here you can see a ratio trade here between Maxi and Hex, and of course whether there's actually appropriate liquidity as well. All right, cool. Let's jump away from that. Listen to Superman, he says it right. Use a different new wallet, says Batman, and forget it and hodl. Yep. Never mix your Sacrifice Pulse wallets. Never use that wallet with other things. Remember, always each should have different wallet to be safe. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, says Apple. You're absolutely right. So yeah, if you've got Sacrifice wallets, or don't use those. I know it's tempting, but don't use them. Obviously, if best practice is to have a hard wallet as well. Now, your crypto assets are actually held on the blockchain, so they're recorded on the blockchain like a ledger. Your hard wallet is just holds your private keys, right? So it gives you the key to the door, as it were, and so that's different. But it's always best practice to have a hard wallet. Treasure or Ledger, typically the most popular two. And of course, yeah, if you haven't got one of those, you can get those too. I've got them on useful links up here as well. So we are trying to make sure we cover everything on here. Here's the hard wallets here. So if you want a Ledger or Treasure, you can go and shop them there, and then they'll come to you all packaged up. So you're always going to make sure packaged, and you can set that up. So cool, that is there too. But in any case, another simple way of more security is not using Hex stake wallets, Maxi stakes, anything that you really value, and of course also Sacrifice wallets, Pulsechain, Pulsex if you've got those, and using a separate wallet, putting it all in there, and then you limit your exposure to that wallet with its own private keys, its own keywords, and seed phrases, and of course then you interact after you've done due diligence, and then that's fine. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. So some of the different ways of making making potential money in the future. Obviously speculative as well on the new chain. The new chain may not do well, it may do well. So I think Alex put it really well. So Alex got a comment up here. Where is Alex's comment here? He's got a comment about it up here. So here it is 13 hours ago. So I thought this was a really good summary. Alex, the dev of icosahedron, says, I view EthW as a marketing tool. EthW has a lot of attention right now, and with all the Hex ecosystem coins pumping like mad, it brings attention to Hex, Hedron, Icosa, and Maxi. Maybe just swapping worthless coins for worthless coins at this point, it has an effect though. So I thought that was a pretty good commentary on that from Alex. So yeah. And obviously you can see it on Dex Screener just by picking the blockchain and see the relative prices. I would just confirm the prices with which I haven't done today. So yeah, we'll just check those. But liquidity, definitely you can search by liquidity and things like that. So you can see Hex Hedron by liquidity is the third biggest one based on Dex Screener's information. And of course that's a ratio trade between Hex and Hedron. And you can see it's at number 7 as well. So pretty interesting. In terms of 24-hour volume, if you hit 24-hour volume, you'll see that Deca WE is actually pretty high. It's pretty insane. We've got PZN up there too, PLSD. So we really look like our ecosystem plus associated ones, or at least distant cousins, are definitely dominating top of a lot of the ones there. Hex died there. It's got $41 in it, so in the liquidity, so it's pretty crazy numbers. So you have to really match up liquidity, match up the volumes, and make sure it all makes sense in terms of the price that you're paying. So I keep a good spreadsheet if you're serious about things. Obviously, you can wildcat stuff, and you may end up losing a lot of it. So take care out there. What else there? Let's see what else. Apple says, "What's rolled batch?" The chains means roll back. Back says Apple. Superman, I have Samsung tablets for each wallet. Offline, always keeping it simple. Nice one there, Pac-Man. Yeah, that's the other thing, is having it on different computers, but that's getting up there with that. All right, cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. There's a bit of coverage there. Like I say, it's the main chain token, main chain coin is EthW, and of course that's even though it's been going down, at some stage it may actually reverse, and maybe that people start valuing the chain more. So that's the way to go. So not surprising to see it go down to start off with for this particular chain, with the general the market going down as well at the same time. So ETH went down dramatically. Remember, so it was up at $1,650, went down basically $250, didn't it? Not sure actually what the bottom has been the last little wee while. Where to get down to $14.26. So yeah, it went basically down $225, and of course it was all the way up here. Actually up to $17.85, so that's even more. So it's $325 it's come down. So not surprising that proof of work didn't go up. EthW didn't go up either. So cool. That is pretty much it on that one. And of course, yeah, so there's that opportunity. Speculative play, though, obviously not investment advice, do your due diligence, all that good stuff. You can simply use swap space rather than have to interact with exchanges and things like that, which you can find under markets on CoinGecko. So it's just on CoinGecko, EthW there. So that's where it is. You just have to type in EthW in the search box and you'll find that. It's got all the exchanges. I must say that there's been a lot more exchanges jump on. So when we first looked at it, there's only a few on here. There's quite a few on there now, and trading pairs as well. So it's definitely getting support from the market, and some of these are leading exchanges and so forth. And then, of course, swap space easy. If you want to avoid all that, just swap space easy. And even if you speculate on like $50 or $10, you can do $10 or something like that, and pick yourself up 1 or 2 EthW. Maybe it pays off. Maybe it's worth something. Maybe it's not. Obviously, good to see, Dipcatcher and Alex, some of the first projects that have supported the EthW network, obviously for Hex, Hedron, Icosa, and Maxi, which is pretty cool to get that support on the dApps, which you can interact with as well, particularly for the minting phases at the moment. That's pretty cool, right? And obviously for here as well, making Hex stakes, Hedron, buying Hedron in there and staking it and all this sort of stuff, and earning Icosa and things like that would be pretty cool. I'm not sure about these points, relatively speaking, on the network, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Obviously, everyone that's got stuff on here has already got stuff on the Icosa network there as well. All right, cool. Very nice. Isn't that a cool system that we beefed up there? And obviously, we've got Pulsechain coming, so we get a potentially, it's all of them do well to varying degrees. Definitely have 3 potential passive incomes on all these products. Can you believe it? Is that mind blowing? Becomes what's the I don't know, is it one of those head snake things with so many different forms of income? 3 chains times 4 coins, 5 coins. So yeah, 18 different forms of passive income could be insane if you got positions in all those. All right, cool. That's pretty much it. You can either stake or you can speculate on the coins. There's all sorts of options there. Anyway, hope that was a bit of interest there. Very cool, as we say. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, smash the subscribe button, hit the like button, all that good stuff. I'm just going to close out of some of these and go back to our, let me get back to our, let me get back up to here. Let's have a look where we are at the moment. So Hex at the moment, sitting at 3.5 cents, teasing us, as it were. Now, Richard has been talking about us, the bottom being in already, whether that means that we get down, 2.8 cents was the low on the 18th of June. We're currently at 3.5 cents. Obviously, we've got the Fed coming up on the 21st. Whether we actually get down that far again is another point. Obviously, if we do go back down, Bitcoin does go back down to like 11K and Ethereum down to 550 or 750 or something like that, then Hex would be under a lot of pressure. But I also have a feeling there could be some wildcard plays here with Hex at some stage. Richard did talk about in his keynote speech, if you recall, that maybe Hex might outperform at some stage in this video. So it's quite cool. I might play that again. I've been playing it a lot lately just because there's so much good stuff in that video of the keynote speech. So I'll probably play that at the end of this live stream. Just listen very carefully to the way he's talking about market conditions, what things that he wishes was there. He does have some frustrations too around the Bitcoin because I guess he feels like he wants the Bitcoin dump. Just dump the Bitcoin, get it over and done with, so that the bottom is easier to call, right? Because it's one thing basing it on the percentages of the market, but it's always timing is the hard part in the market, right? When is the timing of the next bottom, right? So that's the hard part, right? Percentage pullback, 85%, yeah. But when, and that's a tough one there. Obviously, using a year has been kind of the last call since the last time. But will that play out again because circumstances are different? We've got these big holders of Bitcoin. Are they going to dump? Are the people that are beneficiaries going to dump all at once? Obviously, I don't think they are myself. But he wants to call on that and sort of see some of those frustrations as well. So I thought the keynote speech was actually pretty good all around, both from a Pulsechain Hex point of view and also from a market bottom point of view. So it's well worth listening and watching that video at least 10 times because I played it about at least 20 times on this channel. So What else that we got there? Pulse Unity is a good point on marketing. Add EthW to some tweets. Is Pulse Unity? Yeah, that's true. Pulse Chain Hex in the house there. Seems like all Hex players on ETH the pre-trade got snatched up quick. Any coins you think can run up that I can trade for Hex coins later? I got Mana and Link as good values. Yeah, not really outside those coins like any of them, Hedron or anything like that. Any of the top coins, obviously, or probably any of the top ERC20 coins, a fair game. Obviously, if they're supported as well, if they're supported by the communities there, they've been talking about it, I'd be keeping a close ear to that. Obviously, I guess SHIB, if SHIB's on there, that's probably an obvious one. Hedron, yeah, Hedron says Goody, yeah, Hedron. Obviously, in this ecosystem, if you've got 3 chains and 4 or 5 tokens, it's going to be even more than that, right? We're going to have 9 tokens potentially, so you can have 9 potentially, on the chain, especially if you got in earlier before the fork, right? But you'd have 9 tokens on three chains. Oh my gosh, 27. It's like that's crazy. 27 forms of passive income. It adds up, man. Adds up pretty quickly. You just got to monitor that and have time in the market. Not timing the market. When you have got time in the market, then eventually, hopefully, you'll time the market properly as well. Because timing the market is hard. Timing is always the hardest thing if you think about it, reflect on things. So yeah. All right, cool. And we have tools to try and work that out, but still, it just depends on what we're talking about when we're talking about timing. Product launching, timing is hard. Charts, sometimes charting has tools that you can use to try and help yourself with the timing. That's a bit more informed. So it just depends what you mean. But yeah, pretty cool. All right, how are we doing for an hour and 7 minutes? We're coming up to 6. It's currently Sunday, can you believe it already? 6:38 p.m. in the evening on Sunday here. So the week's not too, Monday week's not too far away. Obviously, where's it out? What time is it elsewhere? Still yesterday in Los Angeles, can you believe it? It's 20 to 12 in Los Angeles. New York is in today's time, 2:30 in the morning in New York, or 2:40 in the morning in New York. London is currently at 20 to 8 in the morning in London. So a big welcome to everybody from UK. And of course, today I watched the grandchildren of the Queen, the late Queen, stand in the, I can't remember what they called it now, the wake, not like a wake, but they're standing in the hall when everyone, now all those people are going to see the Queen. A vigil, is it? A vigil. And yeah, it's something like 12 hours or 24 hours or something. People were standing in a queue waiting to see the Queen there at the vigil there. And I saw all the grandchildren come in with Prince William and that come in and sit around and Prince Harry there. It was pretty cool. And a lot of the other princes that I hadn't seen before because I don't really follow that much. I had seen 1 or 2 of them before and other stuff. It was interesting to see them all there. And they were there for maybe an hour. I think something like an hour they're standing there with the rest of the soldiers that are all decked up there. So it was pretty emotional sort of moment. And of course, yeah, it's such a huge thing going on there. So it's been really amazing. The outpouring of the community really has been impressive. So yeah, thoughts with you out there for that. PU in there with the dollar signs. That's right, Pulse Unity. You know how it rolls. All right, cool. That's where we are at the stage. We've got Hex at 3.5 cents. We've got Maximus there. And I think it's early days for Maximus, to be honest. It's going to be fun to see this play out. We've got, what I say, 16.5% now in the Maxi. Is what I said earlier. 16.5% of Maxi in team. Amazing. I think it's early days for this chart. Yeah, the premium at the moment, 2.15. A little bit of pullback. A little bit of potential opportunity there, and so forth. We've got 3,500 on Hedron and $1.12 on Icosa. And the what's it? The airdrops there. We got Pulse Dodge there, $2.77, making a bit of a comeback, and Weight Token there also trying to make a comeback there, 0.8 of a penny. I think that's probably it. Yeah, we've got the EthW charts here. Just you'd have to double check all the price values. I haven't got around to doing that because there's so many of them here. Hex, Hedron, etc. You can see that yesterday when I looked at these, they're all on the upside. So that's probably what you're talking about there earlier. Who was talking about that? Who was talking about that? Pulsechain, Hex was talking about that. Yeah, yesterday when I checked these, all the charts were up vertical. So that's probably what you're talking about there. All the different combinations of charts. All right, cool. We can see Maxi USD up there too. I haven't checked the numbers though, so that's the only thing. So I don't want to talk about it too much. All right, cool. That is pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. We had a lot of fun there talking about the Fed Reserve coming up, the market prices. We talked about the team results for day 13. Around about 8 days to go, because it's more like 21 days and 17 hours long rather than 21 days. So in any case, it will end on the 27th at 0 UTC time. That is the end of the base trio, Lucky Decky, and of course team minting. And of course, it's been absolutely spectacular. Yesterday was a spectacular results with the hedge on deploy going in with 5.5 million maxi in the team. It's going to be fascinating to see where this all ends up, to be honest. All right, cool. And of course, we looked at a couple of the ways that you might be able to make money on EthW network there within the Hex Maxi Hedron Icosa ecosystem and EthW itself. Cool. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Now, all those links were in the useful links here. And of course, if you find something that's not there that I've been showing, like the Kyber swap, I'll try and add that in. Then you can definitely find your links on here. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm gonna end the live stream now, but I will be playing Richard Hart's keynote speech. Listen very careful with some of the little subtle alpha drops that he puts on there. They are pretty cool. And I hope you guys enjoy it. All right, take care, everybody. Let me find out this video. And where's the video here? Screen this up here. Bam. All right, take care, everybody. Bye for now.
What's up, guys? How's it going? Pulsechain shirt on. Pulsechain ring.
Remember that.
So, am I just talking or what? Am I live? I guess I'm just live. Hey, everybody. I hope the weather's nice and cool out there. I hear it's like 106 Fahrenheit. Kind of hot. I have been talking to devs a lot recently. And I guess the next thing you're going to see released on Pulse X is going to be the limit orders. Works fine in the private testnet. They're just going to push it to the main branch and like we'll be able to test that soon. And the big thing that we're waiting on is consensus improvements. So because my devs are geniuses, they find bugs other people don't know about. So they know about bugs in BSC that nobody else knows about. They know about bugs in the click consensus mechanism, which Pirelli is based on, that nobody knows about. And so, you know, before we launch mainnet, we want everything to be right. And right now we have a pretty cool opportunity because the Ethereum guys finally got to market with something, or are close to getting to market with something, which is their Ethereum 2.0, which will now, once it happens, just be called Ethereum. They won't be called Ethereum 2. And it doesn't release new coins. You're not going to get a copy of your coins on Ethereum 2. It doesn't improve costs. There's no extra throughput. There's no extra gas limit. There's no extra throughput per second. All it does is reduce issuance rate for Ethereum, which is bullish for all of crypto. You know, Ethereum's got half the market cap of Bitcoin. And if you don't have Ethereum miners dumping the price constantly and enriching power companies and hardware manufacturers at the cost of the environment and the price chart, well, that's great. And that's great for all of crypto. And it's also great for Pulsechain. In my mind, the two most important core concepts for Pulsechain are the Ethereum fees still high? Yes, they are. You know, I was looking earlier today, it's still $3 to send normal Ethereum. It's still, you know, 10 or 12 bucks to do a Uniswap transfer, et cetera. And that's during a bear market where, you know, Ethereum already dropped 85%. Bear markets tend to come to an end. So the last bear market only lasted 365 days. This one is going to last a little bit longer because people decided to destroy their balance sheets and buy a second. They didn't want to do the normal blow off top bubble chart. They wanted to do an extra double bubble. And this double bubble, well, it didn't work. Ethereum's capital liquidated, block, you know, Celsius bankrupt. Michael Saylor net negative, El Salvador net negative. Everybody, you know, all those guys losing money left and right. All the people that listen to me Well, they've seemed to have done much better. Called top of the day. You might have heard that before. So basically, with this merge that's coming up, assuming it goes well, which I hope that it does, they've got a lot of audits. They've done a lot of testing on it. Hope it goes well. It doesn't do anything but help Pulsechain. Fees are still high. Gas limits are still low. No one's building out extra capacity for Ethereum. No one's trying to reduce the Ethereum fees except us. And I guess maybe the ETH2 developers that someday in the future will eventually get around to sharding, which has been a dream of theirs for like as long as Ethereum's existed. I don't know, 6 years. And it's great. So it also helps with our consensus stuff, because a lot of stuff the guys did in ETH2 for consensus is useful for us and Pulsechain. And that's the only thing we're really waiting on. So, if you've used the test net, which I consider to be the best game on the blockchain, hey, you like blockchain games? Guess what, guys? You get copies of all your coins in the pulsechain.com testnet. Go try them out right now. You can trade them back and forth. You can do, it's the same code. So you can do a lot of the same things. And everything else has been really good. Like PulseX, done tons of trades, tons of people doing buy and burns. I've heard nothing but good things about the testnet. So we're basically, because things have taken as long as they have, we're more secure. We're able to improve other projects if we want. Not sure we will. It's just funny. So in my mind, the two things people care about the most in Pulsechain are more coins, more throughput, lower fees. That's the primary value statement. And ETH 2.0 with this merge doesn't give you new coins, doesn't give you lower fees, doesn't give you higher throughput. And so our value proposition is totally clean. I like it. Everything's good. And then the less negative sell pressure on crypto as a whole from removing the miners having to get paid all the time is good for everything. Now, am I bullish on crypto? Not yet. Now remember, Hex ran up 60x versus Bitcoin the first time it dumped from 65K down 55%. So Hex can totally decorrelate from Bitcoin. I think it was kind of bad timing that it looks correlated now, because we had our own cycles, right? There were sacrifice phases. There was other things going on in our own cycles. And so I wouldn't be surprised if some point Hex started doing the same things it used to do, which is just overperforming like crazy. We'll see. I don't have a crystal ball. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, do your own research, etc. But even recently when you saw Bitcoin like break under 20K, which people are really hoping for, they don't like seeing Bitcoin under 20K. And then if you're a technical analyst, there's some things that say like support becomes resistance. And so, what used to be resistance is support in theory, old 20K top, now 20K quote bottom, but actually didn't hold a 20K bottom at all. Didn't respect that at all. Went down to 17.5, is now sitting at it was interesting. I saw the euro and Bitcoin and the S&P 500 all pumped today. I was like, oh, I wonder if they're correlated. So yeah, I think as long as Grayscale Bitcoin's at a 33% discount, which it is, and they hold 1% of all Bitcoin, and the Ethereum merge might be a buy the rumor, sell the news event. I mean, we see lending people that are borrowing Ethereum for the merge, they're paying like 15% APY to do it. And so, there's some people interested in playing this merge game. And I think traditionally in crypto, buy the rumor, sell the new stuff is pretty common, And so with the risk that Bitcoin dumps due to either just not doing its 85% dump yet, which would put it at, a little bit under 11K, and the 33% discount on Grayscale BTC, which has been consistent. I mean, it's been there for months. And the Mt. Gox coins being released at some point. Those guys suck so bad. Just give us a date, guys. Just give us a date. Let's go. Stop screwing around, The comedy, that whole thing. And then we've got the Bitfinex coins they're trying to sell, which I think is like 94,000 coins or 84,000 coins or something. And then we've got Ross Ulbricht's coins, which I think is like 70,000 coins, somewhere between 54 and 74,000. Can't remember the exact number. I tweeted all these so you can look these up. So we've got discounted grayscale Bitcoin, which is 1% of all Bitcoin. We've got Mt. Gox, Bitfinex, and the federal marshals probably selling Ross Ulbricht's coins because he signed off to let them do it to pay his restitution. And then normal cycle dump, right? And then maybe buy the rumor, sell the news for merge. So in my mind, it's the dream bottom would be the grayscale discount goes away. Some of those free coins that are going to get released by law, like the Japanese ones at Mt. Gox, or going to get dumped as a matter of law, which would be the Ulbricht ones of Silk Road fame. And then it's up in the air whether the Bitfinex ones will really get sold or not. You know, they might get refunded or they might get sold. Who knows? And there's, I think there was 94,000 coins there. You could look it up. So the dream would be those coins get dumped. Bitcoin's deficit to net asset value and grayscale disappears. And then it does its traditional 11K and pray 85% dump. That's been a nice bottom. And then if they raised interest rates, oh boy, that'd be nice too. Because as long as they keep doing quantitative tightening, QT, it pushes down the stock market pushes down Bitcoin, Bitcoin pushes down Ethereum. That's how it goes. And then I like this next cycle is going to be hilarious because with Pulsechain, you know, like look at the situation Bitcoin's in. Is there DeFi in Bitcoin? Comedically, no. Is there high throughput? Is there low fees? Is there a roadmap? Nope. Is there good anonymity? Nope. Now I was just talking to a lawyer today about the Tornado Cash situation. And this, I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice, but he says that, you know, the sanction just addressed USDC, which means it could be the case that you can still use Tornado Cash using the ETH address. And as long as you're using IPFS to access the contract, you know, it seems like it should be okay. But if you mess this up, it's devastating. Don't mess it up. Be very careful. Get your own legal advice. You know, of the many things in this world that you want to toy with, sanctions are not one of them. The government takes them very, very seriously. So I would get legal advice from a lawyer before I did anything related to sanctions. So yeah, bear markets don't last forever, right? So if our top was, let's check the chart here, check the chat. So if we call the most recent local top, get on the daily here, in Bitcoin, if we call that November of 2021, and a year out would be, that's November 11th of November 10th of 2021. You know, that's 2 months from now. So if the bear market's only going to last 365 days, that's only 2 months and 4 days from now. Could happen, right? We could dump, make that firm bottom. And everyone else is thinking about this bear market. I'm thinking about the next bull market. As soon as we've got this consensus figured out, and I think we've got a good plan, as soon as this consensus is like executed and fixed on Pulsechain, it's going to be glorious. Imagine imagine all these new people that get to buy a massive dip. So when I got into crypto, I didn't get to buy a massive dip. I got to buy the top. So I bought Bitcoin at 30 and went down to 2. I was down 93.5% to start. It was like, oh, well, this sucks. Then you just hold. Then it goes up to 1,200, and then it goes down to 200, and then it goes up to 20,000, then it goes down to 3, and then it goes up to 14, then it goes to 4, and then it goes to 69, and then it goes to 17. That's the history. So being able to have so many people, like perhaps the people at this conference, buying at rates that are, 10 times cheaper, like for instance, Hex dipped 95%. Well, golly, that's a good dip. I mean, you could get, if you buy 95% dip, you're getting 20 times the stuff for the same economic energy that a person that had bought previously did. So in theory, that greatly reduces your risk because you're getting so much more stuff. I don't know why in crypto everyone loves to buy tops and sell bottoms, but if you have the opportunity to buy bottoms, like some people bought the big payday dip, well, that was glorious. They did very well on that. Some people bought that $2 dip. I didn't. I just held. But had I been a lot smarter, buying a 90% dip on something that went up another 20,000 fold, yeah, actually went up another 34,500 fold from $2. So it's a lot. It's a lot of extra movement. 34,500x from the bottom of the dip. That was my introduction to Bitcoin. What else do we got going? I mean, some of you guys may notice there was a US credit card on-ramp available for Hex, which would be buytohex.com. What else? Yeah, really, we're kind of waiting for consensus. That's the majority of what we care about right now. And we also, the documentary's done. So the highest of stakes documentary is complete, and they're just slapping the soundtrack on there now. So it's I hear a 40-piece orchestra. I'm not an expert on orchestras. I'm not, I don't listen to too much orchestral music. I guess we all do if we watch movies, because it's very common in movies. And apparently everyone that's seen it likes it. So I think it's going to be awesome when that comes out. So let's see what next year might look like. Pulsechain, PulseX, Hex on the Ethereum network, Hex on the Pulse network, documentary out, incentive token out. Tell us more about the incentive token. I don't know. People probably provide liquidity to it, and that'll be its claim to fame. What's Dogecoin's claim to fame? As a JPEG. This still seems to be a mechanic that works in crypto. What else? Racking my head here. Oh, yeah, the wallet's coming along. Mr. Wallet developer is still building out the wallet, so that's coming along. Anything else? I think that's all I can think about. I'm going to go to Pulsechain does, the world's largest free airdrop. I should probably tell them. Let's do it. If you guys have any coins on Ethereum, ERC20s, Hex Stakes, Ethereum itself, you're going to get a free copy of all that on a chain I created called the Pulsechain. You can go play around the testnet right now. Go play with your coins. Pulsechain.com. Awesome. It's going to help get the Ethereum fees down. It's got higher throughput. It's deflationary. It burns 25% or more of the fees. There's no inflation. It never mints new coins. And it's going to be the world's largest free airdrop. So people love free money, and they don't like high fees. And this addresses all those issues. It's really cool.
So I put 10,000 into it early, super early. I bought the rumor, right?
Right.
What kind of return?
I never speak about. I'm very careful as a founder. Elon Musk isn't, so he gets sued by the SEC all the time. Right. I don't have a security. There is no critical managerial entrepreneurial effort. There is no pool into which people put money with the expectation of profits away from the work of others. This is very specific legal language I'm using to show you that Hex removes the risk of securities. There is no middleman that can screw you. You always mint your own rewards. You always perform your own labor. You are the network. You are the effort. And so I'm very careful to make price predictions. And I almost never make them. I do them for Bitcoin. I do them for Ethereum. But in Hex, I almost never make them. And it's also harder to predict Hex, to tell you the truth, because it's such, the price moves around so much. Right. It's harder to predict. So Bitcoin did 690 million %, which is a 669, what the hell? 690,000x it did. Ethereum did about 20,000x. It went from 31 cents at the crowd sale on average. You could have bought it earlier and got it lower, or you could have bought the dip on Kraken when it went to like 15 cents. Now it's $1,600, was 5,000. So it did probably 20,000x. Hex did a 10,000x. I can list you a lot of other coins that did a lot of X's. In cryptocurrency, doing a lot of X's is very possible. And so could Pulse do the same 10,000x that Hex did in the same time frame, or possibly even quicker? Yes, it could. The likelihood of that event, I don't know. And that's an important number. I'm a smart dude, but I can't predict the future.
Just like you just said earlier.
Right. Yeah. So could it do a 10,000x in 620 days, 623 days? Sure, it could. That's what Hex did. So I when I invented Hex, I wanted it to outperform Ethereum, and Ethereum had done a 14,000x in 2.5 years is what it did. It went from 31 cents to $1,400, maybe 1,500, depending on what exchange you're using. And it did that over 2.5 years. And I said, well, we've got better game theory. I coined the term pumpamentals. I don't use that term as often because people are, don't think it's as funny as they once did. And so like, we beat that target. And now, I look at the Pulsechain chat room, there's 60,000 people in it. I look at the Hex chat room, there's only 40,000 people in it. And Hex has been around for years.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think Pulsechain has a lot of really strong advantages in that it's easier to understand. Yeah, it's Ethereum, but it's faster, higher throughput, cheaper, and the world's largest for airdrop. And it saves the environment. Like,
no brainer.
No brainer. Right. Like, it's a
this
no-brainer.
coin does something. This thing does something.
Yeah.